Hi, so as I promised, this is my first official episode on my YouTube channel. I'm officially on my third trimester. When I shared the news last week with my followers on Instagram, I got outpouring support. And aside from that, I also got a lot of women encouraging me and bigging me up for coming out and talking about endometriosis and being vulnerable. A lot of people asked me, how did you find out? I saw a lot of women actually struggle with infertility, and this being like one of the leading causes of infertility in women, I feel like I have to open up like a little bit more in detail and, you know, maybe help one or two people. This episode, I'm just going to talk about how I found out I had endometriosis. I found out late, the last quarter of 2018, that I had it for a very long time. When I found out, one was 7 centimeters on one of my ovaries, and another was 4 centimeters. Like 7 centimeters is really big, and then 4 centimeters is like almost like, you know, a later stage of endometriosis. How did I find out, and for how long had I had it before I found out? First, I really don't know how long I've had it, but I remember since I was in high school, when I was around 14 when I first got my periods. No, I was around 12 when I first got my periods. And it was just, you know, a normal experience that everyone, you know, like when you're having your periods, you have your cramps, you have your backaches, you have your mood swings, just the normal stuff. And then around when I was around Form 3, when I was 15, 16, I started to experience extremely painful periods. I remember every month I had to, you know, be out go to the sick bay for 2 days because I couldn't walk. I had to be on painkillers, like really strong painkillers. It was just like a horrible, like having my periods was a horrible experience that I never ever looked forward to. It's already like, you know, something not really pleasant, but now imagine you have to like roll on the floor and crawl and, you know, sit in like extremely weird positions because it really was bad. And at the time, I just thought, I'm just not a strong person. I'm really not I don't have a lot of tolerance for pain. That's what I thought. I never thought that it could be something else. Because when you ask people, do you have cramps? They say, yes, we do. So I'm like, but how come you never like, you know, when you have your periods, you're just normal? At some point when I was in my 20s, I couldn't even walk. One time I remember my mom told me, I don't think she knew about this cyst, but she told me that, you know, one day you need to go to the doctor. That was when I was in my 20s. I was already like, you know, done with my university, and she saw me one day like I was rolling on the floor because it was so painful. And she told me, you know, if you have this kind of periods, usually it causes people to be infertile. I don't think she really understood how, but she knew that people that have those kind of periods usually are infertile. So she told me one day you need to see a doctor, and I was just like, mom, you're just exaggerating. Maybe she was just feeling sorry for me. Fast forward to 2018. I was already going through a hard time in my life because I had just broken up with my ex-boyfriend who I had dated for 2 years, and at the time I was just like in a very, very bad state. It was impossible to like imagine my life without him. I had depression. My pressure used to go up sometimes. And I used to like just be sickly. My health wasn't good. I wasn't eating a lot. So I remember one day I was eating with a friend of mine, Christine. Then I just started feeling like a lot of pain in my tummy. I just told them I have to go. Which was a bad idea because when I was driving, I just became dizzy and I couldn't drive, I couldn't see. And I remember like praying while driving and telling God, I just hope to get home safe because now I don't know what to do. I was feeling like I was going to like die or get into like a horrible accident because I really couldn't see. When I got home, by that time I was living in Maradaima. As I just closed the car, I just passed out in the parking lot. A friend of mine came and took me to the hospital. Like people came, they took me to Nairobi hospital. When we were there, they really couldn't figure out something wrong. I'm not telling you this because I'm just trying to like tell you a story. I'm telling you this because I feel like how I discovered that I had endometriosis was sort of like divine, because God had a plan for me, and whatever happened after the discovery, like it was just time for me to find out. Because when we went to the hospital, as much as I was feeling really horrible, my pressure was okay, everything was fine, and I had pain in my tummy. So the nurse on duty told me, you know, to go to the main hospital and check if I have H. pylori. I went back home, slept, and after 2 days I was still feeling like a lot of pain in my tummy, which I don't think endometriosis causes that kind of pain. This same friend of mine, her name is Janet, she drove me to Nairobi hospital. We got there. When I was doing the scan, which to me, I was looking for H. pylori. I didn't think anything else, because even when I was explaining to the doctor was like, that doesn't sound like H. pylori, but you know, let's just do a scan and find out what it is. The lady was like, you're fine, your gut is fine, you don't have any ulcer, but then there's something I'm seeing here. And I was like, what is it? And I was scared, like, because she said it in a very dramatic way. Then she said, what I'm seeing here is a cyst. You have a very, very big cyst. Obviously freaked out because I had never known about it. I had to go and read about it. So I went and asked the doctor about, you know, what cysts are, what I have to do I have to take medication and it will go away? How is it affecting my life? I really didn't know anything about this. Went back home, and this is why I think it was divine how I found out. The moment I found out I had the cyst, the pain went away. So I feel like everything that happened during that time led me to discovering that I had this cyst, because I'm not the kind of person that likes hospitals. I would have never gone to check. I would have never found out. I think I would have just taken strong painkillers as usual. I would have never found out. This is one of the things that make me believe in God. I'm not like an extremely religious person, but this and other things that happened in my life really make me like believe in the existence of someone divine that looks out for me and us. The following day, I start, you know, to try and find out, like start to go and see gynas. I go to Nairobi hospital, I see the gyna, I just don't feel like I'm connecting. Like I don't feel like they're telling me something that is moving me. I went to Coptic hospital, so the gyna there still didn't feel comfortable. You know, like sometimes like when with these things, because they told me, oh, you need to take medicine, but with this thing, you definitely have to do surgery. At this point, I now talk to a cousin of mine who has had, this kind of issues. When I talk to her, she refers me to the doctor or the gyna that changed my entire life. I think I just have to stop here because I don't want to bore you and make a long video. I'll stop here, and next week I'll tell you how I met the doctor, how I discovered I didn't have one but 2 cysts that hadn't been seen before. And that's where I end this vlog for today. I hope you subscribe, you leave a comment, and see you next week. Ciao.